ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री सीतारामचंद्राय नमः। Ram Vijay, chapter 30 onwards. Sulochana came out of her room, and as soon as she identified her husband's arm, she took it up in her hands and lamented over it. She said to the arm with tears in her eyes, "My love, just let me know how you were killed. If I am faithful to you, let your arm write a short account of the battle you had fought with Ram." So saying, she placed a piece of paper, pen, and inkstand before the arm, which wrote the full account of the battle and informed her that the monkeys carried off his head to Suvela. As soon as Sulochana read the account, she grieved much and placed the arm and paper before her father-in-law Ravan. Ravan read the letter and fainted away. When Mandodari came out of her room and hearing the sad news of the fall of her brave son, violently cried and wept. Sulochana said, "I am going to burn myself with my beloved Indrajit. I therefore implore you to get his head back from the monkeys." At the entreaties of his daughter-in-law, the demon king was moved and pitied her, and at the same time he boiled with rage at the monkeys and exclaimed, "Daughter, I shall get the head back. Rest assured. I will now fight with Ram and never return unless I kill him." So exclaiming, he ordered his courtiers to make preparations for march against the prince, when Mandodari said to Sulochana, "There is no necessity for fighting with Ram. If you go to him alone, he will give the head to you, as he is very kind." Ravan said, "What if anybody commits outrage upon her?" Mandodari replied, "There is not a single monkey with Ram who will covet another's wife." As soon as Mandodari said these words, he hid his face with shame and confusion, and allowed Sulochana to go alone to Suvela. Sulochana came to the camp of the monkeys when the latter took her to Ram. She said to the prince, "I am the wife of Indrajit, and I have come here to carry the head of my husband, as I am going to burn myself with him. I therefore implore you to give it to me." "How did you know that the head of your husband was carried off by us?" asked the monkeys. Sulochana told them what had happened, but the monkeys said to her, "We cannot believe what you say. It is impossible that a lifeless arm can write. Here is the head of your husband, and if you were faithful to him, just make it laugh, and then we will be convinced of what you say." Whereupon Sulochana, embracing the head, said, "My love, I am now in difficulty. These monkeys have met here today to judge my fidelity towards you, and if your head does not laugh, they will look upon me as a vile woman." Sulochana tried her utmost to make the head laugh, but it did not listen to her. At last she said, "I made a great mistake. If I had called my father Shesh to help you, nothing could have been done to you." As soon as she uttered these words, the head heartily laughed. The monkeys said, "Though Sulochana spoke to the head in so many pathetic words, it did not laugh. But as soon as she took the name of Shesh, it heartily laughed. What is this mystery?" asked the monkeys. "Sulochana is the daughter of Shesh," replied Ram, "and Lakshman is an incarnation of Shesh." The head laughed because his father-in-law killed his own son-in-law. No sooner did Ram inform the monkeys of this than Lakshman was much grieved for his son-in-law Indrajit, when the former pacified and consoled him, saying that he would resuscitate the demon prince if he wished him to do so. But the monkeys asked him not to do so. The monkeys then handed the head over to Sulochana, which she took and brought on the seashore near Lanka, where she arranged a pile of wood and, having set fire to it, burnt herself with the head. Ravan, who was present there with his family according to the custom, was deeply affected at the sight and returned home overwhelmed with grief. Ravan was in a confused state of mind and did not know what to do, when his minister Vidyujeev advised him to write a letter to his uncles Ahiravan and Mahiravan in Patal. Whereupon the demon king wrote to them, called them to see him at his palace, and informed them of his misfortune and distress. In turn, they encouraged him and said, "You need not be alarmed. We shall carry off Ram and Lakshman to Patal today at midnight and sacrifice them to our goddess." The ministers of Vibhishan overheard what had passed between Ravan and the demons and communicated it to their master. Whereupon Vibhishan told Maruti, Nal, Neel, Sugriv and the other monkeys to guard Ram and Lakshman during the night. All the monkeys therefore made a fortification of their tails and placing it in the prince's bed guarded them. At midnight, Ahiravan and Mahiravan came there and were greatly surprised at the curious fortification. But there being no way to get in, they excavated the earth and through that excavation they carried off the princesses in their bed to Mahikavati in Patal, where they put them in trance and confined them in a house. They also posted 20 kotis of demons under the command of Makardhwaj to watch the mouth of the excavation which was near the sea in Patal. At the dawn of the day, all the monkeys at Suvela went to visit Ram when they found to their great surprise that the bed has disappeared with Ram and Lakshman. They saw the excavation and the footprints of the demons, from which they concluded that the demons had carried them off through the hollow. All the monkeys were greatly alarmed and did not know what to do. But in the meantime, Vibhishan came and told them not to make a noise about it, because if Ravan knew of their position, he would attack them and kill them all in no time. The monkeys with Vibhishan met together and asked Maruti whether he could go through the excavation and trace the whereabouts of Ram and Lakshman. Maruti replied, "Even at the risk of my life, I will get them back." Having thus spoken, Maruti entered the excavation with Nal, Neel, Angad and Jambavant and went through it to the seashore, half dead, where they refreshed themselves with a fresh breeze. Looking at the large number of demons, they disguised themselves as fakirs and asked the monsters to show them the way that led to Mahikavati. But the demons prevented them from proceeding further, so Maruti got indignant and threw them in the sea with his tail. Makardhwaj then began to combat with Maruti, but the latter flung him down and sat on his chest. So Makardhwaj said, "If my father Maruti were here, he would kill you and save my life." As soon as the demon mentioned the name of Maruti, the latter was startled, and getting up from his chest, he said, "My name is Maruti and I am a brahmachari. How do you say I am your father? Just give me an account of how you were born to me." So Makardhwaj replied, "When you burnt Lanka, you threw into the sea your sweat, which my mother, a Magari, that is alligator, swallowed up, and of that sweat I was born to you." Maruti was astonished at the account given by Makardhwaj and blessed him. When the Magari came to see the monkey and said to him, "When you came here last time, you had a large size, but now I find your form is very small. I doubt whether you are that Maruti whom I had seen." Whereupon Maruti assumed his former form and removed her doubt. He then acquainted her with what had happened to Ram when she said, "Ahiravan and Mahiravan are two brothers. They are wicked and treacherous demons. I know that they have carried off Ram and Lakshman to Mahikavati and they will sacrifice them to their goddess tomorrow. I therefore advise you to go and hide yourself in the temple of the goddess, where you will find both the princes." Maruti replied, "Have patience. I will kill all the demons and give Mahikavati to your son." The Magari continued, "Mahikavati is at a distance of 13 yojans, and to reach there, you will have to cross a vast sea, which you will not be able to do so. I therefore beg you to sit with your companions in my mouth, and I will convey you to that place." But Nal, Neel, Angad and Jambavant were afraid, as they thought that the Magari might swallow them up on their way to Mahikavati. They therefore refused her kind offer and stayed on the seashore. So Maruti alone jumped over the sea and immediately reached Mahikavati, where he became as small as an atom and entered the temple of the goddess. As soon as he saw the goddess, he put her in a drain and assuming her form sat in her place. The goddess was frightened and did not speak a word for fear of life. The demons, as usual, made offerings to the goddess consisting of boiled rice, milk, butter and other things which Maruti swallowed up to his heart's content and loudly said to the demons, "I am very much pleased with you because you have brought today Ram and Lakshman for my tiffin. Let me have them. Do not open the doors of the temple because you will not be able to bear my power and luster. I therefore command you to make an opening to one of the walls of the temple and push them in through it, so that I may devour them with great relish." Believing that the goddess was much pleased with them, Ahiravan and Mahiravan removed the trance from Ram and Lakshman and brought them to the temple. As directed by the goddess, they made an opening to one of the walls of the temple and pushed them in through that. Ram and Lakshman were frightened at the sight of the goddess, who opened her mouth and said to them, "I shall now devour you, as I am very hungry." Whereupon the princess replied, "If Maruti was here, he would have come to our rescue. We are now helpless and throw ourselves on your mercy." Maruti was much moved and immediately showed himself to them. "I am now without weapons," said Ram, "and how can I kill the demons without them?" "You need not be afraid," continued Maruti. "I shall get your weapons here." So saying, he brought the weapons and Dhanushya Ban from Suvela. As the princes were hungry, Maruti gave them to eat the butter and other things which he had preserved for them. And after he appeased their hunger, he sat in the place of the goddess, hiding them behind his back, and loudly exclaimed, "I am now ready to bless all my beloved demons one by one. Let Ahiravan come in first." Ahiravan was extremely glad, as the goddess wanted him first, and without loss of time, he went in and stood before the deity, who trampled him under his foot and instantly killed him. As the demon did not come out for some time, the other demons apprehended that there was some mischief in the temple and began to make inquiries about him. When Maruti broke open the doors of the temple and killed a great number of the demons with his tail. Having been informed that his brother was killed by Maruti, Ram and Lakshman, Mahiravan commenced to fight with them. He let off arrows after arrows at his enemies, but they cut them off and let off an arrow and killed the demon with it. But to their great surprise, they found that every drop of the blood of the demon produced one Mahiravan. And when Ram killed all the Mahiravans, produced by all the drops of the first Mahiravan, the drops of that many Mahiravans produced again innumerable Mahiravans, and so on. At last, Ram was confused and did not know what to do. Maruti went and asked the Magri to acquaint him with the cause of the phenomena. The Magri referred him to Chandraseni, a wife of Ahiravan, and told him that she would tell him all about it. So Maruti called upon Chandraseni and implored her to tell him the cause of the phenomena. She replied, "I shall be very glad to tell you the cause of the phenomena, but unless Ram marries me, I shall not tell you the cause." "Oh yes, I can do it very easily," replied Maruti. "Then give me your promise," continued Chandraseni. Maruti gave his promise to her when she said, "Ahiravan had performed a severe penance, on account of which Lord Shiva was pleased and blessed him, saying that every drop of the nectar in the kundas in Patal, if mixed with every drop of the blood of Mahiravan, would produce one Mahiravan, and that drop of blood would multiply." So saying, he presented the demon with a string of Brahmaras and told him that the Brahmaras would supply his brother with the nectar at the time of war. Now you see, these Brahmaras, who are as big as mountains, go to Patal and sprinkle the nectar over the blood of the Mahiravans, and consequently there is no end to them. I therefore tell you to go to Patal and kill all the Brahmaras, so that the nectar may not be sprinkled over the blood of the Mahiravans killed by Ram." As soon as Maruti knew the secret, he immediately went to Patal and killed the Brahmaras except their chief, whose life was spared because he promised the monkey that he would be useful to him on some occasion. Having killed the Brahmaras, Maruti returned to Ram and told him to let off arrows at the Mahiravans. The prince accordingly did it and killed them all. Immediately after this success, Maruti remembered the promise given by him to Chandraseni and said to himself, "I do not know what I should do now. If I tell Ram to marry her, he will never do so. And if I fail to fulfill the promise given by me to her, she will curse me to death." Maruti, however, became bold and told Ram about the promise. "I will not violate my oath," replied Ram. "If you like, I can come to the place of Chandraseni and bless her." So Maruti first came alone to Chandraseni and said to her, "Ram will come tonight. Keep your bedstead ready for him. But I tell you one thing, that if it is broken by the weight of Ram, he will never marry you and directly go home." Then Maruti sent the chief of the Brahmara, without her knowledge, to hollow the bedstead in such a manner that as soon as Ram sat on it, it would be broken to pieces. The Brahmara skillfully made the bedstead hollow. In the evening, Maruti, accompanied by Ram, came to Chandraseni, who received him and made him sit on the bed. But no sooner did Ram sit on it than it was broken to pieces. Whereupon Ram immediately got up and began to walk away. So Chandraseni indignantly exclaimed, "Oh monkey, you are a great scoundrel. I will curse you to death." Maruti was alarmed when Ram went and pacified her, saying that he would marry her in his next incarnation and she would be called Satyabhama. After all the demons were killed, Ram gave Mahikavati to Makardhwaj and returned to Suvela with Maruti and the other monkeys. Here we complete chapter 30 and 31 of Ram Vijay. Shri Ramachandrarpanamastu. Hari Om.